Your love is not good enough. We were raised, and you could call it a blue pill world. You could call it a blue pill narrative, right? We were raised in this blue pill narrative that, we're all going to grow up and find this fairy tale love and everything's going to go good, right? And when it doesn't happen, it hurts. And then you sort of are introduced to the red pill, right? And then those of us in the red pill community, we find other red pill commentators, we find other red pill information, and we relate with that. Okay, well, this is what's going on. This is the truth. This is, and to some extent, there's relief in that. There's solace, a little bit of solace, right? Oh, not everybody, or I'm not alone. There's other people who experience these things. That helps. But I've been doing a lot of reflecting, probably the last 6 months. And in the midst of all my, revelations of my, the red pill truths and things that I've, been revealed through bad, negative experiences, right? I also still am, realizing, or I shouldn't say realizing, it's a reiteration of the fact that the matrix never goes away, right? We live in this matrix. The matrix itself, the social order, society, the way things are, biology, social norms, whatever you want to call it, we just lump all that into the word the matrix, right? The matrix doesn't change. Never changes. Only we change, right? Because the social order isn't going to, I shouldn't even use the word order. I should just say the way things are, right? The dynamics of the realities that we live in, the earth, the so-called structure, whatever you want to call it. I mean, all this red pill stuff that we talk about, from the negative stuff to the, just, basic truths of the matrix and, the red pill basic truths, all the stuff that we talk about, is, it's not going anywhere, right? It's just, it's solidified. It is what it is, right? We're just discovering it, right? Of course, there's always exceptions, blah, blah. I always got to say that, right? Because there's exceptions, there's always exceptions. But ironclad realities remain, ironclad realities of life. And, amidst my reflections, I just realized that nothing changes, only you change, right? Now, maybe you can get lucky, maybe, I always got to say this because it's like, it's possible, Your love is not enough. You know, your love is not enough. It doesn't matter that you got a lot of love to give a woman. They're just not that way. They just don't care. They say they do, but they don't. You know, and here's the thing. Do you care? You know, you say you got a lot of love to give. Are you going to love an ugly woman? Or, you know, loving an ugly woman is equivalent to a woman loving a broke man. You know, are you going to love an ugly woman? You know? So many of us in the Red Pill community we're just simply sufferers. You know, I had a hip hop album. I used to do hip hop. Whatever you want to call it, rap, whatever. I used to make a lot of rap songs. I'm not very good. I was never very good. I was okay. I had some decent songs, and no one ever really heard me or listened to me because I was just very obscure. And but I had some decent songs. One of the songs that I made was called "The Silent Sufferers," and it was one of my better songs. It wasn't bad, you know. I spent more time. I didn't put a whole lot of time into my hip hop, my rap, which is, I mean, obviously, if you want to get good at something, you got to put a lot of time in. The time that I put in was really mostly just like engineering, like trying to make my voice sound good, picking a cool beat, and then kind of thinking about how, you know, how I wanted to rap on this beat and like how, you know, anyway, long story short, I was not all that great, and I made a song called "The Silent Sufferers." It's one of my better songs. And the song basically was about people who, you know, suffered in silence, people who were in pain. You know, there's people out there who are tired all the time. They don't have time to have a social life. They don't have energy to have a social life. They don't know what that is. They're working. They're barely, you know, the job they work pays crappy, and they're barely putting food on the table. They're unhappy, and they're stuck in the matrix, right? So that's kind of what my song was about. Not a great song, you know, like I said, not a great artist. Spent more time actually rapping and engineering the sound of the song than I did on my lyrics, which is a problem. Not only do you have to be good, sound good, and have a good flow, but you also got to have nice lyrics, and I didn't have very good lyrics. Lyrics was my biggest downfall. But within those lyrics that I wrote, you know, I said some lines about, you know, people are suffering, you know, people are lonely, people are tired, you know, and this is what the Matrix is. It makes you these things. And, you know, you could look at it from a biblical perspective. You could look at it and say, well, the earth is evil and God is trying to, you know, take the earth back from the devil, and the devil rules the earth right now, and the people who are happy and successful and, you know, living it up and having a good time really are just the devil's followers, right? Maybe, I don't know. You know, that's just one philosophical way you could look at it. But a lot of people are suffering. You know, people have to work. People have to, you know, I mean, not everybody has rich parents. Not everybody has a scenario where someone will take care of them. Not everybody has a scenario where they got a really nice, cushy job. You know, people are suffering, man. You know, that's the Matrix. That's what it is. You know, and then people want to escape it through drugs. I mean, why do people do heroin? Why do people escape through addiction of alcohol and drugs? Why? because Earth is hard, man. The world is a hard place. You know, people want to feel good. People want to be happy, and who is? You know, the older I've gotten in my life, the less happy I've gotten. When I was young and had a whole bunch of energy and didn't have any worries or cares, like I was super happy, you know. But as I got older, as you know, life came at me, things crept in, and I realized, oh man, you know, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta do this, and I can't do this because I'm limited in this way, and can't do that because I'm limited in that way. You know, and my options are limited, and this is what I want to do, but I don't think I'll be able to do it because of this and this. And it's like, that's what adult life is about. Can I do this? You know, when you're a kid, it's just all about like, yeah, let's just go do something, or and it's just fun. You don't have worry, and you got other friends who are like, yeah, let's go do something. You just go do something, and you're just happy as shit. And so something happens, man. Something happens when we become adults, you know. There's this transition. And don't worry, I'm going to tie this in to, you know, why she can never just love you, or why your love is not enough for her. Something happens, man, and we got to become adults. We got to be responsible, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, there goes the fun. There goes the joy. And then we try to do these adult fun things like, let's have adult friends and let's go to the bar. Let's find, you know, friendships and relationships, and let's find fulfillment in this and that. And I kind of, you know, but we lose that essence, you know, and we've only got so much energy. And it's, you know, I was thinking about that movie, not that movie, that television show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is it's hilarious, right? But what's so cool about that show is that it's really just a bunch of adventures, you know? Whereas like Seinfeld was like all about these quirky scenarios and like, you know, these clever happenings, right? But it was all still kind of contained within, you know, the boundaries of social norms. But It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is just way out the box, right? And that's kind of what it's like to be a kid. You know, that show is like, you know, obviously that there's a lot of crazy themes and adult shit and like nutty things, but I think the essence of that show really is just about freedom. You know, it's these guys who live these spontaneous lives, and they're kind of childlike in their thinking and their behavior. And they just do funny shit. You know, it's almost kind of like a non-animated Simpsons or a non-animated Family Guy, where just crazy dumb shit happens and it's spur of the moment, spontaneous, and it's funny. That's kind of what it's like to be a kid. It's kind of what it's like to be free. It's like, let me just go do this, or let me just go do that. And like, we just lose that, you know? We lose that. Somewhere along the line, people start judging us, you know? And they teach you it too. It's weird. If you listen to, like motivation, Tony Robbins and like self-help crap, right? It's all about like bettering your life. You're the sum total of the 10 people you hang around, 5 people you hang around, whatever. Be careful who you hang around, because you'll start to act like them. And then people start to get sort of exclusive and sort of, you know, always like, no, obviously I'm not saying go befriend somebody who's like totally negative, or somebody who's totally like on drugs, or like a really bad friend, bad energy, bad influence. Like, yeah, you know, cut those people out. But when it's like, when people like don't want to hang out with you, or don't want to spend time with you because you don't make enough money, or you don't have a nice career, or you're not helping them in some way, that's when it gets weird, And it's like, okay, we're all adults, and I'm just adulting, like, yeah, I get it. I get it. But we lose that childlike energy. We lose that spontaneity. We lose that how easy it was to make friends, and how little it was required to be someone's friend, Like, hey, you want to hang out? Yeah. Hey, you want to come over? Yeah. Let's go play. Let's go ride bikes. Let's go do this. Let's go build a fort. That's how, But at some point, it was like, I want to be rich. I want to have a nice career. I want to do this. It's like, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. You want to be great at something. You want to have a great career or what, like I get it. So how does this tie in? Well, this ties in because this is sort of how we lose our essence. We lose a piece of us, a piece of who we really are. And I think that people change, and when one of the things that I tried to do, I would say around, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, Into the Wild. I'm not sure why I can't say that word. Into the Wild. It's about this kid who's he's 19. He skips out on college. I think he was a great student or something like that. He skips out on college, and at least that's the story. He wants to be free. He wants to go to Alaska, and he dies because he can't survive on his own. He didn't really plan, and kind of like that, I was kind of like that when I was about 19, 20. But I mean, obviously I didn't run around and, leave and go off on an adventure like that. Although I thought about it, I remember being 19, 20, having those feelings like I just, I want to. But what I did instead was I opened my mind and I studied things, and I took about 2 years off of life in general, and I wanted to gather myself, and I wanted to gather my thoughts. And I didn't want to go right to college, and I didn't want to get a job really, although I did work during that time. I didn't really want to buckle down, and I wanted to be open. I wanted to have an open mind. I wanted to have an open life so I could figure out what I wanted, and so I could figure out who I was, right? And I'm thankful for that time. I'm thankful that I took that time. Thankful that I did that, because I think a lot of people, they don't really ever get to their core essence. They're always thinking like, I have to do this because this is what's required of me. I have to please my parents, so I got to go to college, and I got to get a good job so I can have a good life and have a family. And everybody's always motivated by those things. But have you ever stopped, taken a step back and said, let me think about this. Why am I doing this? What's this all about? Just reflected, right? I made a video that I didn't upload that I probably should have uploaded. It was pretty good. It was about reflections and how men should reflect, right? And I guess you could say reflection is sort of similar to philosophizing or, sort of meditating, right? And I think the gist of that whole video that I didn't upload on reflections was basically that you should live a happy life, and you should be able to look back on your life and have lots of great memories to reflect on. They call it the halcyon days of youth, right? You should have that. If you don't have that, you probably haven't lived a great life. Now, What can happen is you have a great childhood, and this is kind of what happened to me. You have a great childhood, and you got a lot of great things that you did, all fun and games. And then, once you grew up, your adult life wasn't so great. That's kind of what happened to me. Just being brutally honest. Really haven't had the greatest adult life. But there's certain issues, certain illnesses and things like that I've went through that are the cause of that. Well, I wanted to transition into a sort of normal life, but my illnesses said, no, you're not going to do that, because I'm not going to allow you to do that. I'm going to limit you. I'm going to handicap you. And because you are handicapped, you cannot pursue the things that you want to pursue, fully at least, and you will not be successful in the ways that you want to be successful, and you will sort of be a disabled person. Now, being a disabled person has been a blessing and a curse. It's definitely been more of a curse than a blessing, right? I wish that I could look upon people who are disabled and say, yes, I understand that, but I would not want to be that, but I can't. I have to be that and also say, I understand it. So I understand it mostly because I am that. What I mean by that is I would much prefer not to be disabled. I much prefer to live a so-called normal life, right? Have a decent job, have a family, right? But I guess the silver lining is this. I realize that, like I mentioned a second ago, I took this time off to reflect. And because I took that time off to reflect, during that period, I sort of left the Matrix, right? Ironically, the movie Fight Club and the movie The Matrix itself sort of helped me to say, hey, wait a minute, I want to step back and I want to look at life for what it really is. Why do I have to work? Why do I have to do this? I questioned everything. Why this? Why that? And during that questioning period, I uncovered a lot of truths about society and people and things like that. And one of the benefits was that I learned to, I wouldn't say be a good judge of character. I would just say I have a core knowledge of what is quality, what is a quality person. I'm able to judge people a lot better. Not judge in a negative way, just judge and say, what's real? Is this person real? Is this person a quality person, right? And one of the things I base that on is this person, judgmental? Is this person, and really most people are. I haven't met too many people who aren't. So during that red pill period, I learned a lot of truths, and I learned that what life is all about. And if you don't have your stuff together, you will get left behind in life, You will get, and that's a sad fact, right? Life is about survival. Life is about sustenance. Life is about thriving. Life is about happiness, but happiness comes from those things, right? You got to have, you got to have protection. You got to have the basics, right? And this is what women are looking for. They're not going to marry a bum. They're not going to fall in love with a guy who doesn't have his stuff together. And this was a hard red pill truth that I had to learn. I'm an idealist in its essence. I'm an idealist to the core, to the point where if you're not with me when I'm broke and homeless, you don't really love me, right? And so that means that You know, in addition to all the other red pill truths, in addition to all these things that we know about female nature, in addition to all these negative things that we know, at the core, the whole thing is messed up. At the core, the whole thing is damaged, right? There's no way that a woman is going to be with you if you can't provide. Most women, like 95% of women, like I said, there's always exceptions. I always got to say that, but 95%, it's not going to happen. Unless you're just like, the irony is if you're a real, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're a real loser, like you're on a, for some reason, women will seek these real losers out. You can't be a woke loser. Like, you can't be a loser and know you're a loser and like, oh, I've got these good things to offer. Like, no. If you're a loser, you got to not know you're a loser. Like, if you're a loser, you got to think you're a winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys who are total losers, you know, but they still have this bravado and they still have this confidence. These drug guys and these bad boys, like it's obvious you're a loser. Like, you're unemployed, you're borrowing money from people, maybe even stealing and doing this, that, and some woman will fall in love with you because she thinks you're the sexy bandit, or she thinks you're the you're the bad boy that she's gonna fix or something. And the fact that she can never fix you is why she keeps sticking with you, and weird shit like that, man. The world's full of it. It's full of all of it, you know. But if you're a woke loser, like if you're a loser and like you know you're a loser, but you're like, hey, I've got these other qualities to offer. I can love you. I can, we can have good times. We can have bonding experiences. We can do this and we can go do that. Like, yeah, that's all good. You know, or pardon me, I should say that's not all good. Like, that's, for some reason, that's just not, there's nothing attractive about that, because you're not on a path to destruction. Women are attracted to men who are on paths to destruction. Something about female nature, I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't facilitate survival or replication quality. But it's counterproductive. But it's what it is. But if you're not, or if all you have to offer her is love, that's not enough. That's not enough, man. If you're not good looking, looks, money, status, you know, if you're not one of those things, that's it. You're done. And yeah, I mean, I came to that conclusion in my early 20s. This is many moons ago, many years ago, you know. And took me maybe another 8 years to realize that, yeah, that's really what it is. I was always hoping against hope. I really believed that there was somebody out there for me, that it was going to happen, and until I got disenfranchised with the church and God, and, you know, went out to seek a woman of the world, a woman at the well. Oh, and I found a lot of them. Found my fair share, and they all hurt me. Well, not all of them, but, you know, a couple did. A couple hurt me. One the most, and, you know, she said my love was not enough. And they all had something to say, right, about my my money or my lack of money, right? And that's also when you learn, yeah, you're not that good looking, because they're certainly not beating down your door asking for a date. Certainly not responding to all your messages on the dating sites. Yeah, I could buy nice clothes. It's kind of a waste. What's the point? Might as well just pay for it. Might as well just pay for pussy, right? And you think like, yeah, I might as well just pay to keep one around too. But I can't do that, because that is against my red pill better judgment.